Hello everyone! Hi! And oh my god, did you see? I have these amazing new commands. Did you see, guys? Now you can click all the things without having to worry about knowing what they are. You don't have to look at my about area. You can just open the links right there. Wow. Transition was so good, right? I got this great stinger made by someone. God, let me find them. I'll post them in chat. Genuinely so obsessed with that stinger, so obsessed with it. But yes, I have funny new command links, so now you guys can just open all my media thingies like it's nothing. Here you go. Here's the person I got the stinger from. Fucking amazing. I love them so much. Oh, one day, rat. That would be the dream. I literally do not have the money to even get like a sample of merch right now. Like a merch concept sample, you know. I love the passion though. Thank you. Honestly, it's really hard to decide what a first merch would be anyway. Chat is very violent today, but that's okay. Because our girl Jenny in our video game is probably really violent too, so she would love this. Our protagonist, Letitia, would not love this, but whatever. She's kind of a wet blanket. Got no backbone on this woman. But Genevieve, the woman who is wooing her in that cute manipulative way that some lesbians like to do, would love the violence, so good job, gang. I am super excited to continue this game. So I know that I have mainly been only doing this for the last few streams, and the reason is I want to finish it, and then I want to finish reading Carmilla, because those are the first two ready thingies I started when I started streaming, and I haven't finished them yet. Hey Wolfie! And I know I haven't streamed much this week. This is like the one stream this week that we've had, and it's the only stream we're doing this week. Hi Aki! Welcome in. There's some fun new commands that you may have spotted in the title of the stream that you guys can, you know, use now. They're going to be so useful, and I hope you guys enjoy having that access now. See? Wolfie's so good at knowing what's up. You may have confused. I appreciate the passion, Aki. You may have confused stream elements by doing it so quickly. Yeah, so quickly after Wolfie. It may have gone, oh god, oh god. But that link should never expire. If it does expire at any point, please let me know. Because I will replace it, don't worry. Community is still growing on the Discord. It's still pretty quiet. We're getting there. But, you know, we all start off quiet, don't we, babes? No, that's okay, Aki. Don't worry. It's very exciting. There's still other commands you can do if you want to have a go and with playing with the bot. Don't worry. But yes, we've got the new command set up. I'm really sorry again about this being the only stream this week. I've been working really hard with Azel on the podcast. I've been doing a lot of IRL organising things with my life, tidying things up. I've got this mic arm that's just sitting leaning on the bed in its box still that I haven't set up at all. But we are going to set that up, and then we're going to have like a mic that has like a pop filter, so you won't be hearing the pop 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 anymore. So more crisp, more clean Priscilla noises, which will be really fun, especially with the reading streams, especially with all my chatting and reading. I've also been looking around for like music teachers, like vocal lessons. I have been kind of looking around for who's around in my area, because all those in the know, they know I'm not in a big country. I'm pretty rural as well. I'm not even in the city with it. So I'm quite limited, but I've got a few that I could try. There's one that will take me like an hour to get there on a good day of traffic, but it's still better than like other ones, and I'm just very much on the grind lately, and I have been letting like my stream schedule flux quite a bit because of that, and I apologize. I am going to try and do 2 streams next week. I need to. We'll do some more Salomes Kiss next week. Obviously, we always stream once a week at the very fucking least. We're not going a stream week. We're not going a week with no streams. We have to do one at least. Got to keep it going. Thank you for the passion, Aki. And if we manage to do 2 streams next week, we'll probably do Scroll Stapler for the other one, which I do have downloaded, and I'm very excited to play. It looks really silly. Extra exciting Priscilla news is I've found a energy drink that doesn't kill me. A slightly obscure Priscilla lore. I react very severely to caffeine. Like, I get migraines just from like a sip, So the one I'm drinking is like using guarana, whatever that is. It's different fruit. And it's like my favourite flavour, raspberry lemonade, which is just always yummy. So that's going to be helping me a lot with keeping my energy up for these streams. I haven't had any like fatigue lag from them, from what I can tell. And I haven't had them... Yes, an energy drink that doesn't give me migraines. That was the big deal. That was the big thing. I was like, dang, this would be so magical if I could find something that did that. And we have. And the other thing is I don't get fatigue lag. So like usually when I have like high energy foods and stuff, I will have fatigue lag where like I will have done big energy things while I've had the energy. And then once the energy comes off, I won't feel like normal tired. I will feel like I need to crash and like sit in bed for like, or sleep in bed for like a day or so, It hasn't seemed to give me that, which is really nice too. So I'm not losing a day from having it. There's no downside so far. And what else? But yes, I've been looking into vocal tutors. I need to reach out to some of them and ask them about training, because I've never had that training before, and I really want to do covers of some songs that I really adore. I've always been really into music, and it would just be nice, Imagine that, me singing. What a dream. I have a lot of things that I want to do with my life, and I'm with the way life is and the way things are shaping up, I'm like, I might as well do them quickly while I can. Yeah, Azel's in the know about the sort of music I want to cover. He's a music head. He loves music too. So we were chatting about songs and stuff, and he was like, "Oh, you want to do covers of music? What sort of songs?" And so I sent him a bunch of stuff. Sort of like a hint, I really like Vocaloid and J-pop for my what I want to sing. There's some. And if you've seen my interview with Eric Loy, I actually mentioned one of the songs I want to sing, which is one of the J-pop ones. Eric Loy, amazing interview, very cool dude. He's actually looking. I'm going to plug him again. He's actually looking for, always looking for VTubers to interview. He's very cool. He's like a radio dude, and he just loves talking to various people. So I'd say reach out, Tell him Priscilla sent you. He's so cool. I would recommend him. He's a great talker. He's like literally done radio talking to people his whole life. So he knows how to make you talk and to be comfortable, And then he puts them all up on his YouTube channel, edited nice and pretty, and it's really nice to have something like that up. Oh my god, enough talking about this, everything that's going on, you know. Unless you guys have questions. But no. Let's hop over to gaming time. It's time for our video games. I'm gonna have a quick sip on my energy drinky, and then we'll get started. Oh, I forgot to move the mic away from my mouth. Sorry, babes. Sorry about that. I know how food noises can be messy for the brain. That probably wasn't great for you guys. Apologies. As usual, Letitia is a massive wet blanket. If you're wondering what's happened previously, may I recommend the VODs channel, where you can watch previous uploads of all the streams that have been done on this game previously. Just a cute suggestion, you know. But as usual, Letitia is being a total wet blanket. Kind of getting sick of it, honestly. I'm surprised Jenny isn't either. But like, maybe Jenny's in it for the massive bazonkas, you know? Insults, jeers, and broken crockery. Letitia had thought the worst of Arthur Langley when he had asked her upon their first meeting to keep Genevieve out of his sight. Perhaps he had only asked her this out of a sense of self-preservation. That's Genevieve's dad, okay? The fact that he is like, oh, I need to keep myself safe from my daughter. I can't do a thing about her. You're her dad. Do something. Coward. Now it seemed Arthur had not been the one to drive his daughter away. The culprit behind the estrangement might instead have been Genevieve herself. Well, he's certainly not helping his case in the way he, behaves. Letitia had not known this. There was a lot about Hatton Manor and its inhabitants which eluded her. I apologize, sir. I only said as much because I was worried about Genevieve. I'm afraid she gets lonely living in this large house. I worry about that too. Not a day goes by that I don't think of my daughter. It is no small relief to me that she now has you to converse with, and to confide in. I am very glad to hear that she's been making progress with her studies too. How has she been faring with her history and geography lessons, by the by? Poorly, I'm afraid. Genevieve says she has to head for dates. She's not very good at memorization, but she is rather talented at languages and the piano. Aha! I knew it! A faint smile captured Arthur's lips. He turned to glance at the portrait of Sylvie, which hung above the fireplace, and said, I always thought she was talented. She takes after her mother in that respect. Letitia turned to look at Sylvie too. Her red curls tumbled around her shoulders, they always had, while her grey eyes seemed to shine in the firelit study. Letitia had never met Sylvie before, but she looked familiar. Every contour of her face, inexpertly rendered though it was, reminded her of Genevieve. Right down to the tip of her nose. They look quite similar. Yes, indeed they do. It's uncanny, really. In terms of personality, however. I take it there are differences? Oh, yes, that's one word for it. Arthur laughed. But his laughter was devoid of cheer. Instead it sounded hollow, oddly empty. Sylvie was always so quiet, softly spoken and very shy. She even felt guilty about giving the servants orders. Can you imagine? I don't know if she was particularly suited for life in a house like Hatton. Genevieve, on the other hand. Arthur's voice trailed off, lost in the crackling flames. The silence was unnerving, and Letitia felt obliged to prompt him. She can be very willful. Stubborn, too. Oh, she's feistier than a tomcat. She was always such a madame, ever since she was a little girl. She used to wind poor Miss Porter up something fierce. Miss Porter was her nurse, by the by. Yes, I had heard. Genevieve told me a bit about her. I assumed she had nothing complimentary to say. Well... Letitia bit the inside of her cheek. Not entirely, no. That's hardly surprising. Jenny deplored Miss Porter. She used to play such horrible tricks on her. She was a menace. Arthur chuckled. Still, at the end of the day, her games were of a silly, childish sort. I don't think she meant any ill by it. She's not a malicious girl, my Jenny. I don't like to believe she is, at least, but... Once more Arthur's voice trailed off. His laughter faded, and with it came a frown that aged him by a decade. His brow wrinkled in on itself like a tilled farmer's field, and his eyes looked so heavy. It was a wonder he was able to keep them open. Sighing, he looked Letitia in the eye and said sombrely, In any event, I am glad things are going well. You have my thanks, Miss Reed. Oh no, the pleasure is all mine. I am proud to be Genevieve's governess. There isn't a single dull day with her. But of course, being dull is the last thing one could accuse my Jenny of. I just hope she doesn't put an eel inside your slippers. Letitia's face paled at this, and Arthur smiled. With that smile, the wrinkles on his brow soon smoothed themselves into non-existence. The years slipping from his handsome face in half a second. It was incredible how much difference a few muscles could make. Now Letitia could finally understand why her mother had always told her to smile. I don't think she would do that. Genevieve would do that. She seems to like me, I think. For that, I am very grateful. If Jenny wanted to make you into her enemy, you would soon know about it. And so would everyone else in Hatton, I'll wager. I hope she doesn't turn against me. Letitia did not want to think of how she would react where she'd find an eel, stone cold dead, curled up inside her slippers. There's a lot of eel hatred in this visual novel, and I imagine a lot of it is related to Letitia's like the way she perceives eels, but I adore eels. Have you guys ever seen an eel? They're so charming. She thought, though she had no concrete way of knowing, that she might faint, but not before screaming loudly enough to awake the dead buried in St. Osbert's churchyard. Don't worry, I can't imagine she would. You're much closer to Jenny in age than Miss Porter was. My Jenny's never cared much for authority figures, as you might have gathered. Moreover, Jenny's been so isolated for such a long time. I'm sure she's desperate for a friend. But I'm not supposed to be her friend. I'm supposed to be her governess. And I'm supposed to be Jenny's father, but I fear I've made quite the hash of that. We aren't always what we set out to be, but in your case, I don't have any concerns. You are trying to do right by my daughter, and I couldn't ask for any more. Now. Arthur Langley glanced at the carriage clock, which was sitting atop the mantelpiece. The hours really have slipped away from me. I apologize for droning on about the past, Miss Reed. You must find me a most dreadful bore. Not at all. I like hearing you talk. That is very flattering, I'm sure, but don't feel obliged to humour me. You're not being paid enough. You are free to leave if you would like. Go and curl up with a book. I'm sure that would be a far more diverting use of your time. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Letitia dropped a neat curtsy, then turned to leave. She was at the door, her fingers curled about the handle, when Arthur called out once more. Oh, and Miss Reed? Yes, sir? Would you kindly ask the cook to bring me some tea? Chamomile, preferably. It's been rather cold as of late, and I need something to warm up my old bones. Certainly, sir. Very good. And would you request that Pruitt bring the cup up for me, if you please, whensoever it is ready? Pruitt? Letitia frowned. But I thought that was Hubbard's job. It is generally. But Hubbard is such a gloomy girl. Accepting tea from her shan't do much to lift the spirits. Pruitt is much more agreeable, and she's also prettier. I fear I need these little amusements to look forward to, given my advanced age. All right, I'll see if she's free. Capital! Thank you, Miss Reed. That really will be all. Dismissed, Letitia took the doorknob between her fingers anew and twisted. The lock clicked, and she exited Arthur's study without a backwards glance. Letitia, as if transpired, did not have to look very hard for Dinah. She found the blonde maid on her way to the kitchens in the entrance hall. She was busy polishing the banisters of the grand oaken staircase in the centre of the room. But she paused when Letitia approached her. "Oh, Miss Reed, do you want something from me?" "Not me, exactly. This is a request, well, a demand, really, from the master. He wanted you to bring him up a cup of chamomile tea when you have a moment." "Me?" Dinah pursed her lips, which were, Letitia couldn't help but notice, soft and pink and perfectly formed. "But that's been Auntie Annie's job ever since Abigail left." "I know that. I said as much too, but well, the master said he would rather be served tea by a pretty woman like you." "Oh my. Did he really say that about me? You aren't embellishing things, are you?" No, I'm not. I wouldn't. Those were his exact words, more or less. And he called me pretty?" "Yes, he did. I see. Oh, goodness." Dinah set her cloth upon the banister and glanced about the entrance hall. She seemed perplexed by this news, her white teeth worrying at her pert lower lip. A few moments passed. Letitia looked at Dinah askance, unnerved by the silence. "You want someone to call you pretty, Sebby? Sebby, you are so pretty. You are such a pretty little lad. Anyone should call you pretty." "Dinah, are you all right?" "Oh, yes, I'm fine." That's what Dinah said, but she did not seem fine. Her eyes were darting about anxiously in her head, and she was still nibbling at her lower lip. So hard, Letitia feared she might draw blood. Dinah looked just like a nervous rabbit. "Oh, Sebby, you know I have to treat my little chat members so lovingly. It's what I do." Dinah looked just like a nervous rabbit, its leg caught in the jaws of a sharp-toothed trap. But soon she shook her head, and in doing so seemed to dispense with her prior hesitance. "Well, if that is what the master wants, I've no choice but to oblige. Thank you for relaying his message, Miss Reed." Oh, my foot fell asleep. "It's no problem." Letitia watched on, anxiety bubbling in the pit of her stomach as Dinah walked off. The hem of her maid's dress swished about her ankles, which, Letitia noticed, were trim and shapely. "She has nice ankles, chat. Let's go." Dinah was unquestionably attractive from tip to toe. Her hair was fair and flaxen, and her complexion unsullied by any marks or scars. Her eyes were china blue, her figure enticingly slender. Arthur Langley had been right. Dinah really was pretty. Was that an observation Arthur ought to have made in regards to one of his own servants, though? His comment about Dinah's appearance, innocuous or not, seemed particularly jarring given all that had happened to Abigail Fletcher. What now, Letitia wondered, was to happen to Dinah? I find myself calling her Dinah instead of Diana. Is that odd? I just think the spelling of her name seems more like Dinah, you know? Dinah did not come to serve Letitia breakfast the following morning, as she had throughout Letitia's stay in Hatton. She was instead greeted by a smiley girl with a broad accent called Ivy. "Here thou art, Mum." Ivy set the breakfast tray upon Letitia's lap while she was still abed, her blue eyes full of intrigue. "I hope that thou enjoys it. It looks good, don't it? Smells mighty good, too. I was salivating when I brought it upstairs for the—" "Oh, she's cute." Letitia had to admit breakfast that morning did look uncommonly good. The cook had prepared 2 poached eggs as opposed to the typical one, served alongside toasted bread, bacon, and watercress. I've never had watercress, but I feel it might be nice. The food was appealing enough, but Letitia found she was not particularly hungry. I wonder, is watercress just like a sprout? I I feel like it might just be a sprout and I'm fooling myself, and I've had sprouts. Dinah's absence had unsettled her. All the anxious thoughts she had ruminated over the last night returned in full force, more violent than ever before. Oh, now I'm distracted, chat. I need to find out if watercress is just sprouts. Let me get my phone. It is not just sprouts. Oh, how curious. It's its own thing. Okay. But you do eat it raw, just like sprouts. How curious. I shall have to try it sometime. Anyway. What a fun diversion. Who is this Ivy girl? And what was she doing in her bedroom? A logical thought though it was. Letitia could not help but think of her as a changeling, a wicked creature born from fairies who had been sent to usurp Dinah's role. Friendly though she was, Letitia could not warm to Ivy. Instead, she regarded her with suspicion. Oh, poor Ivy. Where is Dinah? Letitia's tone was more confrontational than it had any right to be, and she felt a hot blush spreading across her cheeks. Oh, poor Dinah. Poor Ivy. She hadn't done anything wrong. Why did she sound so accusing? Ivy had done nothing wrong. Exactly. She's just there. Poor thing. Nothing saved from not being Dinah, which she could not help. Exactly. She's just a different person. She can't help it. If Ivy had heard the sharpness in Letitia's tone, however, she did not comment on it. Oh, she's lovely. Instead, she only smiled and said, "Ah, now that's a piece of bad luck it is. Poor Dinah was struck down with a heat fever this morn. She was too ill to get out of bed upon waking." "A fever?" "Yes, mum. Her skin was all clammy-like, and the poor thing was burning up. She couldn't work in such conditions. Even Miss Reese said so when she saw her." "Well, if Miss Reese said so, that means she must be rough." Ivy tutted and shook her head. "I do hope she gets better soon. Dinah's worked here a good long while, and I ain't never seen her sickened before. She's usually as healthy as an horse." "I see." Letitia was unsure if she felt relieved or not by this information. She was pleased that there didn't seem to be anything suspect about Dinah's absence. But her conversation with Dinah the evening prior weighed on her conscience regardless. That's fair. What had happened when Dinah had traipsed up the stairs to Arthur's study? Had she delivered him his tea with a neat curtsy, then departed, or else? The smell of poached eggs invaded Letitia's nostrils. Under normal circumstances, such an aroma would have invigorated her appetite. But now it served little function other than to make her stomach squirm. While not particularly close to Dinah, Letitia considered her face a friendly, familiar one. She had known the other woman for several months, and over their brief conversations they had formed some sort of bond. If Dinah had been hurt by Arthur Langley, Letitia was unsure what she would do. Was there anything she could do? Perhaps she was getting ahead of herself, though. Dinah really might have been sick, but like Ivy had said, it was far too early to jump to conclusions. She was being foolish. "Mum?" Ivy, who was still hovering in the doorway of Letitia's bedroom, gave the governess a curious look. "Is that all right, Mum?" Thah's face has gone quite white, like Thah has seen a ghost. "Thah's not too sick, is thee?" I get a bit tripped up with the "dah." I'm doing pretty good, I think, but I get a bit tripped up because I'm not used to that sentence structure. It's cute though, isn't it? I think she sounds so cute. Oh no. Letitia raised a tremulous hand so as to brush a few strands of hair behind her ear, as though this might help make her more presentable. It did not, but it was an honest attempt regardless. I am fine, Ivy, you need not worry. I was only thinking. Thinking, eh? Thou must do a lot of that, being a governess and all. Thou must be awful smart. Oh no, not really. Maybe thou don't think so, but I do. Thou must at least know your writing and arithmetic. 'Tis all a great mystery to the likes of me. Ivy laughed and shook her head. I'll leave it to your thinking then. Have a good day, Mum. Thank you, Ivy. I shall try. Oh, and Mum? Ivy paused by the door, her fingers hovering above the handle. Turning, she glanced at Letitia and said, Don't you worry none about dear old Dinah. How do you know that I'm worried? It's written all over thou's face. I mightn't be good at reading books, but I ain't stupid, and I certainly know how to read other people. Thou must be good friends with Dinah. Aww, Ivy's so cute. Well, of a sort, I suppose. Ha! I knew it! Ivy smiled proudly, with the air of one who had managed to solve a particularly complex puzzle. Well, don't thou fuss. She'll be right as rain soon enough. 'Tis just a fever. We maids are an hardy sort, and we don't let such things stop us. Dinah might seem small and delicate, but she's worked here even longer than I have. It'll take more than a cold to put her out of commission. Oh, I do hope so. Letitia murmured this vaguely, all the while glancing out the window. It was a shock for her to realize, as these words passed her lips, just how much truth they contained. She and Dinah were not friends, not in the traditional sense at least. But Dinah Pruitt had become part of Letitia's daily routine. Oh! Welcome in, Vixen. It's lovely to have you. I hope you're doing well today. Things did not seem right somehow, if she was not the one to bring Letitia her breakfast every morning. Dinah's absence seemed like a ghastly portent, an omen of misfortune. Letitia could only pray their predictions were, unlike St. Osbert's, ill-founded. And so after experiencing considerable pushback from the Catholic Church, King Henry VIII decided to... You doing good? My day has been fairly good. I'm very excited for the coming week and all the work I want to get done. Letitia's voice trailed away, and glancing at her pupil, she pursed her lips. Genevieve was not doubled over her desk, pen in hand, taking notes as Letitia had instructed. Instead, she was staring out the window, a coy smile upon her face. Perhaps Letitia could have forgiven this breach of conduct were it not for the highly distracting way she was tapping her fingernails against her desk. Tap, tap, tap went Genevieve's fingernails, and a tiny salvo of sound was drilled into Letitia's skull. Letitia grit her teeth together, then she counted to 10, and then she said, Genevieve? Genevieve did not jump at the sudden exclamation. Perhaps she had been expecting, or indeed waiting, for Letitia to call to her, because she turned and offered her governess a lackadaisical smile. What is it, Letty? Don't what is it me. You know precisely what you're doing, or in this case, not doing. You should be paying attention, Genevieve. Your father is paying me to give you an education. Don't stare out the window when I'm trying to teach you. And please don't call me Letty in the classroom. You need to exercise some decorum. Decorum? That's such a dull word. Genevieve yawned and stretched, raising her arms above her head. I wish you wouldn't be so stern, Letty. It doesn't suit you. I would so hate for you to turn into a second Rowena. I do not wish to be as stern and Miss Reed either, but I do want you to glean something from our lessons. Otherwise this venture will be quite wasted. On the contrary, my time with you is never wasted. I listen to every word you say, though it mightn't look it. Your voice is simply too sweet to ignore. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. You see how much of a wet blanket she is? As soon as Jenny compliments her, she goes, well, maybe it's fine. It doesn't matter that Jenny was breaking the rules and being naughty. As soon as Jenny compliments her, she keels over. Hilarious. Letitia paused, momentarily wrong-footed. She felt a flush rise to her cheeks and she shook her head. Nobody could unsettle her like Genevieve. Not even Clara had been so very adept at this art, for Clara had never, unlike Genevieve, done so purposefully. You really ought to be taking notes though, Genevieve. It will help you remember. I don't see why I need to remember. When will this knowledge ever help me in my day-to-day life? It might not have many practical applications, it is true. But please don't tell me you want to go through life empty-headed and ignorant. Oh? Genevieve's eyes narrowed dangerously, her expression once amused, now sharp and piercing. Do you think me empty-headed and ignorant, then? See, Sebby, you also have the same problem as Letty. All of you in chat, I imagine, would just fold so easily if Jenny complimented you. It's a problem. You're never going to teach her any decorum like this. She's never going to make it in high society. Goodness. The lot of you. No, of course not. Then I don't see what the problem is. Now don't harp on at me so, please. I'm in such a pleasant mood I would hate for you to spoil it. I've good news, you see. News? That's right. I meant to wait until lunch so I could tell you properly. But I simply cannot hold it in a moment longer. It's much too exciting. Genevieve rose to her feet, the legs of her chair scraping against the ground, and approached Letitia with eager eyes. Let's not talk about dry old history right now. Henry VIII is dead and buried. He belongs in the past, but this is the present, and I have something very important to tell you. Genevieve looked so very enthused. The years seemed to slough off her like snow upon come the springtime. No longer did Genevieve appear the beautiful daughter of Arthur Langley, already 18, with her untamed red curls and her fair milky skin. She seemed instead like a young child, though Letitia supposed it hadn't been so very long ago that Genevieve had graduated from childhood to adulthood. Genevieve might have looked like a romantic heroine, but she retained the vestiges of her youth she had not yet managed to shed. Sometimes, when Letitia spoke with Genevieve, she forgot about the years which divided them. At moments like this, however, when Genevieve fidgeted and fussed, Letitia was reminded of this fact quite plainly. Genevieve was 18, only a handful of years older than Clara had been. Letitia, meanwhile, was 24. While both women were ostensibly adults, Letitia was Genevieve's governess. She was her teacher. Letitia was supposed to be in control, not only of the classroom, but her own feelings. And so Letitia did her best, shaken though she was, to hush her unruly pupil. Genevieve, please. Your history lesson has not yet concluded. Take a seat and... But I can't. Not until you guess what my news is, at least. Go on, guess. My apologies, but I haven't the time to play along with your little games. Your education is paramount. But this is even more important than that. More important than your education? Yes, indeed, I think so, at least. You see... A coy smile captured Genevieve's lips as proudly she proclaimed, It's nearly my birthday! Silence descended. Letitia surveyed Genevieve coolly, unblinking, her lips pursed. I beg your pardon? It's my birthday! Well, it will be soon. It's a week before Christmas. Oh my god, twinsies? My birthday is also a week before Christmas. This is so crazy. To tell you the truth, I've never much liked that. My birthday falls so very close to the holy night. My parents only ever brought me one gift to commemorate both. It seemed horribly unfair, and it isn't much fun either, to celebrate one's birthday when the weather is so dreary and dismal. Now, luckily my parents have been very kind and done their best to show that my birthday and Christmas are separate. We never really put things up until after my birthday is over, and the Christmas ornaments and things. And they are separate events, definitely. That's nice. And I given the hemisphere, my Christmas here is in summer, so I would prefer if it is in winter. I'm more of a winter girly, but we can't have it all. My birthdays have never been cheery affairs. But I think this one shall be different, now that I have you. Genevieve's cheerful, girlish words washed over Letitia like a deluge. Letitia supposed she should have known as much. She remembered hearing, though dimly, about Genevieve's birthday once before. Perhaps her charge had mentioned it during their first meeting when Letitia had asked about her age. So Genevieve would be 19 soon. With every day that passed, her childhood grew more and more distant, vanishing into the misty mires of the past. For the present, however, Genevieve was young and fresh of face, disarmingly so in fact. Letitia could not recall the last time she had been so excited about her birthday. There was something sweet about Genevieve's enthusiasm. Her behaviour was not particularly ladylike, but there was a simple charm to be found in her innocence. Letitia was touched that Genevieve wanted to include her in her birthday celebrations too, but... Letty? Genevieve peered up at her governess's face, her expression drawn. You don't seem very pleased for me. Aren't you going to wish me a happy birthday? I will when it's your birthday, but that isn't for a little while yet. It's soon enough. The day will be upon us before you know it, and then I'll be a whole year older, 19 at long last. 19. Ah, yes, that's a fine age to be. I remember when I turned 19. Ha! Genevieve laughed, tossing her head back her head so her wild curls bounced. You are making yourself sound so old, Letty. You're no wrinkled old spinster. I think you are plenty young. Why, thank you, I appreciate it. Letitia replied primly, but her tone was distracted. Genevieve was right. In truth, she was not all that old. But on that particular day she felt exhausted. Certainly she was too tired to share in Genevieve's pure and simple happiness. Genevieve's birthday might have been a cataclysmic event for the young girl, but it paled in comparison to Letitia's current concerns. What about Dinah? Letty, please. Genevieve planted her hands on her hips, pouting all the while. Why are you acting so oddly today? Am I acting oddly? Yes, you are. You know you are. First you scold me in tones quite unlike those you usually use, and now you're refusing to be happy for me for my own birthday. Don't you care about me at all? No, that isn't it. I do care about you, Jenny. As Letitia said the words aloud, in fact, she realized with a start how very true they were. She cared about Genevieve a good deal. That was why she had been worrying, as of late, about the 6 years between them. 6 years might have seemed like such a large gap at first. Indeed, it was not uncommon for men and women to be separated by gulfs far wide to marry, but Letitia was a governess, Genevieve her pupil. It was Letitia's job to educate Genevieve, not befriend her. Over time, the segregation of their roles had begun to erode. Genevieve had been acting more and more familiar as time slipped by, and while this pleased Letitia, it also unnerved her. Sorry guys, I'm a bit distracted. I think people are doing busy things out in the garden today, and it's getting me... It's distracting me just a little bit because I have a window overlooking things, so I get a lot of the noise. She did not want her feelings to take control of her now, as they had back in London. She had come to Hatton to escape from her illicit feelings, not indulge in them. If she did that, she would be just as bad as Arthur Langley, provided, of course, that he had taken advantage of Abigail and Dinah. Poor Dinah. Was she really sick, or... Letty? What is it? Genevieve spoke once more, her tone softer this time, gentler. She took a step towards her governess, the burnished floorboards creaking beneath her weight, as she said, Did something happen? Why do you look so distracted? It is nothing really. I was just... worried about Dinah, I suppose. What? But why? Genevieve pulled her face, as though she could imagine nothing on this earth more unpalatable than the pretty blonde maid. Why have you been thinking about her, when you're supposed to be teaching me? I didn't realize the two of you were close. We aren't close, not particularly. I've simply been... concerned, I suppose. Seems Dinah's come down with some sort of fever, and I've been wondering. We should wonder nothing about her. She's only a maid. I doubt she's truly sick either. It's most likely a con, put on so she can weasel her way out of working. Do you really think so? I'm certain of it. I know Dinah well. She's worked here for years, since I was a young girl. She was a young girl back then too, from the village. She spoke just as common as the rest of them, until she started emulating our airs and graces. She's always been such a show-off, or because she's a little bit pretty. Father's always been soft on her, not that that's saying much. He's soft on all the maids here, so long as they have 2 eyes and a nose and a mouth. Genevieve pulled her face. I don't trust Dinah, and neither should you. She's craftier than she looks. I wouldn't be surprised if she's plotting something, that two-faced sow. I beg your pardon? You heard me. Dinah is a sow. She doesn't deserve your sympathy, not while I'm around. You ought to be focusing on me instead. Jenny is such a brat. She's such a little brat. Ugh. Letitia blinked at Genevieve, nonplussed. She had not expected such a violent outburst from her pupil, and indeed it had taken her by surprise. Uncomfortable now, Letitia shifted. This was a harsh, awkward reminder of the time when Genevieve had bumped into Abigail, spitting insults sour enough to curdle milk. Letitia had tried to write this off as an out-of-character outburst, prompted by anger about her absentee father. But now she wondered. Did Genevieve dislike all of the servants her father employed? And if this was the case, did she hate them because her father employed them? Perhaps it was Arthur Langler's connection to Dinah Pruitt, no matter how tenuous, which had turned Genevieve against her. Raised largely by her mother, her father a shadowy absentee. Perhaps Genevieve found it impossible to trust anybody who had lived at Hatton for an extended period of time. Maybe she was jealous that the maids, despite their lowly status in the household's hierarchy, spent more time in her father's companies than she did. Or else... Letitia wasn't afforded the time to ponder this much further, however, because she soon felt fingers circling her right wrist. What? Genevieve, her charmed upbringing notwithstanding, was stronger than she seemed, and far fiercer. Her fingers dug into Letitia's wrist hard enough to hurt. Letitia feared she would leave bruises behind, dark, stark blues and purples. Why did Genevieve look so incensed? She had been so happy mere moments before, but now... Hi, Tushy! Hope you're enjoying your time with us. Jenny, please, let me go! No, I won't. I can't. Not yet. Oh my god, hi, Chile! I hope you guys are doing well. What? But why? Because it's nearly my birthday. You should be happy for me, but instead... Genevieve's voice faltered. She shuddered with sudden impotent rage. Perhaps it was passion. Her eyes glassy and her hair wild. I wanted you to be happy for me. Why can't you be happy for me? I am happy for you, Jenny. I was just thinking. About Dinah? Genevieve's lip curled. I wish you wouldn't. When you're with me, I want you to think of me and only me. Nobody else matters. I won't let anybody else come between us. You're my first ever friend, and so... Genevieve inhaled sharply. She stared into Letitia's eyes, her expression insatiable, unreadable, and said in no uncertain terms, I won't let you forget about me. Apologies, I said that wrong. I won't let you forget about me. That's better. You gotta say you gotta emphasize the right words when they do the italics, otherwise it doesn't work quite well. Yes, friend, quotation marks, very much so. You've been really busy, Chile? Honestly, same. This is my only stream this week. It's been rough. But like in a good way. I've been busy in a way that I enjoy. I hope you've been busy in a way that isn't too rough, you know? All of Genevieve's childishness had evaporated. The soft edges had been filed away, leaving nothing but sharp points and harsh edges. Oh, Chile Tushi, for you two who have just joined us, you may see in my stream title there are these like funny commands that are now available that you can use. Oh, it's been rough, Chile. I'm sorry, hon. Moving? Oh god. No, I get that. Moving fucking sucks. I fucking hate moving. I had to move last year and it was rough. I did not enjoy it. It took a long time to get settled. No, I'm sorry things are rough for you right now, Chile. The place is good? The actual place is good, okay. Gotta add the S to it. There you go. I'm glad the place you've moved into is actually really, really good. That having to work the day after you move into it, yeah, that'll do it. Oh, and pain from 13 hours a movie? Yeah, no, I was in a lot of pain after my moving. I didn't actually move a lot of stuff because I have family that was like helping, and it was like all of us moving, so it was different. But at the same time, I was in a really rough way after moving, like even though I was barely doing anything. It fucking wrecks you. I hope you feel better soon. Oh, your dad? Got you a standing desk? Let's fucking go! Oh, that's awesome! I'm happy for you, that's great, that's a big deal. Those shits are expensive. She was demanding, driving, almost threatening. Was this how a normal teenage girl was supposed to behave? Clara never exhibited such behaviour, but she, Letitia reminded herself, had been born into a loving, gentle family. Both her parents were still alive, and she lived in a neat home in London, surrounded by people. Genevieve, meanwhile, had grown up quite alone. She had witnessed death at a young age, and now she had nobody. Basically, Ray moves moving out, so they need to get rid of stuff. Oh, I fucking love that. Oh, hell yeah, you got one too? Nice, nice. We love that shit. We love that. Perhaps that was why her moods, when they timid, seemed so strange to Letitia, so alien. She must have observed Miss Rye's acrimony, for now it was leaking from her pores. Letitia quivered. She felt her bones turn to jelly, her body threatening to collapse beneath her own weight. Jenny, please, Letitia wanted to sound calm, but her voice sounded high and panicky, even to her own ears, as things spiraled beyond her control. Yeah, we love Papa Lisseth. Papa Lisseth is always hooking us up with the best furniture, it looks like. Can Papa Lisseth get me like a new chest of drawers? I need like a nice tall thin one with some shelves as well. I need to get rid of my big chunky one. Can the dude hook me up? I'd love that. Oh yeah, Tushy. These lesbians aren't healthy, but we kind of are here for that. We don't want the healthy lesbians in this particular situation. It just wouldn't click. Healthy lesbians are like good for other vibes. This vibe is not for the healthies. Oh my god. Chalet, if he actually like, I would lose my mind. My only requirement is it can't be plastic, because those things, like the degradation of them after a while, the trays, like when you slide the drawers, they get caught on the runners, and they get so hard to like pull in and out. That's just really annoying. But like, your dude is hooking everyone up for real. I don't know how he'd get it to me. But like, you know, he fucking it up in the best way. Letitia was unsure what exactly she had meant to say. Perhaps she had meant to reassure her pupil. I could never forget you. Or berate her. I think you need to calm down. Neither response seemed entirely appropriate. But then Genevieve dropped her head and in doing so, all sense of propriety was summarily shattered. I think you could do it, Chiller. You're like a mythical beast. You could open a rift. It'd be fine. I think you've got it in you. Let's fucking go, guys! We finally got a kiss? I woke the cat up. Oh god. The kiss has finally happened. We did it. Let's go. Everyone, big cheers. It's because I was like clapping and like cheering and making big noises. She woke up. Let's fucking go. We did it. She's celebrating with us. She would love lesbians. I always say that Hine is like bisexual, but she would never like get with a guy unless he was like so subby and passive, because she cannot be dealing with those dommy guys. She would be such a dom because she cannot cope with other people being like in power over her. She can't cope with it, like not in a cute way, but like she hates it. So she would be our bisexual queen, Hine. She'd be that one bitch at the Pride Parade who like she's attracted to like so many people, but she comes off as so aggressive and like territorial with it that it's kind of a weird way, that it's kind of like a weird pull that only works on some people. And she'd be wearing like a baggy t-shirt. She would only wear a baggy t-shirt and tiny shorts to the Pride Parade and like really comfortable sneakers. She is the queen of comfort. She loves luxury, but when she's out and about, she likes to be comfortable, you know? God, I got so distracted. It's Kissy's time. We actually got kisses. I thought it would take us longer. Wasn't sure if we would get to one of the kisses, because there are multiple kisses in this game. I don't know if you guys know. I've played this one before, and that's why I'm playing it with you guys, because I wanted to introduce you to visual novels through ones that I knew I enjoyed at first. There's more than one kiss in this game, and it's so cool. Oh, we're just living in the moment. we're thriving. We're fucking thriving. I should start reading again. Oh, look at that art though, guys. The lighting, the shadows, so precious. Genevieve's lips found Letitia's. Their mouths pressed together in a bruising kiss so hard it almost hurt. All the while, Genevieve's fingernails continued to dig into Letitia's wrist. Her grasp was harder than steel and even more unforgiving. Letitia could not budge an inch. So surprised was she could do nothing save surrender herself to the sensation of Genevieve's burning caresses. Genevieve nipped at Letitia's lower lip, and Letitia gasped. Ah! This was all the invitation Genevieve needed to slide her tongue into Letitia's mouth. Letitia whimpered into the unexpected kiss. She could hear her heart pounding and wondered, fitfully, whether Genevieve could hear it too. Her heartbeat was so frenzied it would have seemed stranger if she could not. Letitia had tried to push all affectionate fantasies from her mind, but the touch of Genevieve's lips against hers brought all her old longing back in a hot, heavy rush. This was Letitia's very first kiss. Though she had known married couples often bestowed such tokens of affection upon one another, Letitia hadn't understood how intensely fulfilling such closeness could be. Letitia had not wanted to understand, or indeed imagine, what being loved felt like, for she had been certain she would never be able to experience such a thing herself, not in the manner she so desperately desired. Letitia had long since consigned herself to the cold, sterile existence of a spinster. She had locked her own heart away and buried the key. Genevieve's kiss, however, had awoken it anew. Letitia's eyes had finally been opened. She felt like she had grasped, if only for a handful of seconds, the happiness that men and women who were in love were allowed to feel, a pure, uncomplicated kind of love, which could be experienced without fear, condemnation, or judgment. One single kiss had tipped Letitia's world upon its axis. Now she found herself reeling. Jenny, I... Fragmented words fouled from Letitia's lips, still damp with Genevieve's saliva. Shivering, she pressed her fingers to her mouth as though to confirm what had really happened. Even now, it all felt like a strange dream. Jenny, why did you do that? Because I wanted to. You wanted to? But why? Because I like you. Do I need more of a reason than that? You like me? In what manner? I know you wish us to be friends, but... Genevieve raised an eyebrow at this, a wicked smile playing about her lips, and cupped Letitia's burning cheek with one hand. Letitia trembled, half expecting another kiss, fearing it, yet desiring it. But the kiss did not come. Instead, Genevieve leant forward and said, her voice sing-song, with all the abandon of youth, "Do you still think I wish only to be your friend after doing what I did? For a governess, you are surprisingly simple-minded." What? Letitia's face, which was already red, burned all the more at this insult. Letitia had never much liked being teased. Did anybody? Being teased by a 6 years her junior, her own pupil no less, stung. Letitia, I don't know how to tell you this, but a lot of people do like being teased. It's quite popular, actually. Where was Genevieve's sense of respect? I am not simple. I may not be a lady like yourself, but I received an adequate education and... Yes, Genevieve's playful voice cut through Letitia's retort, though not unkindly. I know you're not stupid when it comes to history and geography and music, but romance? I fear your knowledge leaves much to be desired in that particular area. Romance? Then you don't mean you... Letitia looked down at her feet, eyelashes downcast. She could still taste Genevieve's mouth upon hers. The memory of it all, the heat, the fear, and the thrill of it, was making her feel quite faint. Of course it was. This is Letitia. She has the backbone of a fucking paper. She has the backbone of wet paper. Of course she's feeling faint. You don't have romantic feelings for me, do you? I suppose so. Otherwise I wouldn't have kissed you. You suppose? Letitia's head snapped upwards, aghast at Genevieve's cavalier tone. Well, Letitia's nerves were tauter than a drawn bowstring. Guilt, anxiety, desperation, and affection were a heady brew indeed. Genevieve looked utterly unconcerned. How could you have kissed me over a mere supposition? These things have to be taken seriously, Jenny. This is no game. If anybody were to find out... But they won't. And how do you know that? Father is always in his study. He doesn't care tuppence about what I get up to. As for Rowena, meanwhile, well... That old harridan almost never comes into the schoolroom. This is our own private place. We can do anything we want here. Just you and me. Don't you want that? Letitia did want that. She wanted it so badly. It startled even her. But she didn't want to give in to her burgeoning feelings. Not that easily. I do not think this is appropriate. I'm supposed to be your teacher. And you have taught me an awful lot. Why don't you let me return the favour? Genevieve smiled coyly, her grey eyes mischievous. There's much I'd like to teach you in return. At the very least I need to show you how much I love you. Then you'll never ever think about anybody else again. You'll be all mine and only mine. So Jenny's a bit of a yandere. If you guys got that drift, if you guys were thinking about that, she is a little bit giving that vibe, isn't she? And that's why we love her even more. Jenny, please. I'm not a doll. In this house we love yanderes. Well-written yanderes, I will say. We love the like very fun, well-written yanderes. So much in this house. Hashtag we support yanderes. No, you are not. You are Letty, my governess. I thought I would hate you at first, but I was wrong. You're much nicer than I imagined, even though you try to scold me. It's fine, though. I don't mind. You can't hurt my feelings. I don't want to hurt your feelings. You mean a good deal to me, too. I was flattered when you said you wished to be my friend, but this is all so unexpected. So you don't like me? I never said that. She's so good at being a manipulative yandere, too. She says the perfect lines. Then I fail to see what the problem is. You would. You're still a child. Oh, really? Is that what you think? Genevieve's eyes flashed. Remember, Letty, I am not so very childish that I can't kiss you. I might be younger than you are, but I'm not an infant. I know exactly what I want. Genevieve's fingers reached for Letitia's hair. Gently, she wound a few strands of it about her fingers, as though she meant to link them. With each faint touch of Genevieve's roving fingers, Letitia felt her heart thump fitfully, as though threatening to burst. Letitia knew she should push Genevieve away. She had let the young madam get away with too much already. If this continued, it would be impossible to stop her, but already it seemed far too late. That kiss had changed everything. Try as she might, Letitia could not fight against her own desires. Like Genevieve, she had been lonely. It was nice now to find somebody whose feelings seemed to align with her own, somebody who would not pull away from her in disgust after knowing who she really was, and what she really wanted. Genevieve would not judge her, not now they shared the same secret. Letitia had grown helplessly entranced by Genevieve during the last 2 months. As for Genevieve, meanwhile, I want you, Letty. I've wanted you all to myself for a while now, in a way I've never before wanted anyone. So please don't leave me. That would break my heart. Oh, she's such a bitch. She's such a fun bitch, right? That night, like many of Letitia's nights at Hatton, was a sleepless one, riddled with undulating, phantasmal thoughts. Not even the sounds of the rats in the ceiling, nor the wind which tapped against her window pane, could brush aside the hazy memories which had befallen Letitia. It had been hours since it happened, but still, Letitia could not forget that kiss. The touch of her nightgown against her bare body became Genevieve's roaming fingers, and each soft sigh which fell from her lips might as well have been Genevieve's mouth claiming her anew. The kiss itself had lasted only a few brief moments, but to Letitia it still had not stopped. She could recall each slight sensation, and all those recollections made her moan anew. When she closed her eyes, her lashes flush against her cheek, she saw herself and Genevieve as they had been in the schoolroom, their hands clasped together and their fingers entwined, as they came together over and over again. Letitia had imagined doing such things with Clara, particularly at night when she had been alone, but those sweet fantasies had always been accompanied with the bitter taste of shame. Letitia's face had burned, her heart had thumped, and she had done her best to drive such sinful dreams from her mind. Of course, Letitia had never actually acted upon her desires. She would never have dared. Letitia had always been afraid of punishment ever since she had been a little girl, and threats of eternal damnation, not to mention potential rejection, which might have stung even more than all of hell's infernal torments, had held her back. She had never before kissed anybody, man nor woman. She had never imagined she would. If she could not have Clara, she had thought, then she did not wish to have anybody at all. Genevieve, however, had proven her wrong. The young Miss Lanley, but she was not, Letitia told herself, all that young, had broken down her defences with laughable ease. All it had taken was a single kiss to make Letitia fold. In that moment, Letitia had given herself up to Genevieve in her entirety. Her body had become more effervescent than air, so weak and feeble she feared she might blow away like candle smoke. Throughout her life, Letitia had always desired to take the most morally correct course of actions available to her, or failing that, the actions which would cause her the least amount of hardship. This is her problem, chat. This is why she's like this. She only tries to be good. This is why she's so pathetic and wet-blanketed. She doesn't know how to be a sinner. That's her problem. She doesn't know how to embrace sin, with joy and passion. And that's why she's broke so quickly, you know? Letitia knew if she continued down this path, her affairs would only grow more complicated. Particularly now she could perceive, after sharing that kiss with Genevieve, that she had begun to fall in love with her pupil. Genevieve was no saint, despite the softness of her skin and her gentle, dewy eyes. She was an enchantress, a demon, a will-o'-wisp. Letitia had to avoid temptation, as per the Lord's Prayer, but she was woefully weak. Genevieve's touch had undone her. Now, Letitia could think of nothing else, not even the Bible verses which had helped to suppress her mounting ardour for Clara. Letitia wasn't a brave woman by any means. She was, and always had been, a timorous, trembling coward, afraid even of her own shadow. That was why, rather than enjoy her feelings for Clara, she had instead chosen to flee from them. She had not been able to trust herself. Letitia had thought in Hatton she would be safe, with nothing left to tempt her. Oh, how very wrong she had been. Perhaps Genevieve had been sent to Letitia by the Lord, in all his wisdom, as a means to test her resolve. If this were the case, Letitia thought bitterly, then she had failed, and quite spectacularly at that. Jenny feared the potential ramifications of her actions, though whether she held more fear towards Satan's wrath or Miss Ree's it was hard to tell. But despite that, she knew she couldn't keep away from Genevieve, not in the least because she still had a job to attend to. Letitia had sampled the forbidden fruit, and now she knew nothing would be able to whet her newly stimulated appetite. She was like Eve with the apple, utterly insatiable. One kiss was not enough. She wanted Genevieve to hold her once more and to kiss her, to touch her and caress her. She wanted Genevieve to love her, just as Letitia was sure, after 24 lonely years, she had fallen in love with her. The following day dawned, but Letitia saw no sign of Dinah. Her breakfast was borne to her once again by the smiling Ivy. As Letitia picked at her food, she asked Ivy how Dinah was. She didn't want to seem like she cared too much, but her concern must have been evident because Ivy chuckled. "That's kind-hearted of your mum. Miss Reed don't care much about her scullery maids, other than whether we're fit for work or not." "That may be, but I am not Miss Reed. Would you mind telling me about Dinah's condition? Is she any worse?" "She seems to be on the mend, but she's still awful pale. Weak, too. Miss Reed said she ought to stay in bed a bit longer, not 'cause she really cares about poor Dinah, mind. She just don't want her infecting the master or the young miss. Us maids are all at the very bottom of the pecking order. I love Ivy. Ivy's so fun." Slightly comforted, but no less concerned, Letitia tried to go about her day as per usual, tried being the key word, for success soon proved to be an impossibility. How could Letitia act normally when the memory of the kiss she had shared with Genevieve lingered still at the forefront of her mind, colouring her every interaction with her pupil? Fortunately, Genevieve did not try to impress herself upon Letitia again. Perhaps she felt sorry for Letitia, who, red-faced and awkward, kept stumbling over her words and forgetting herself in the middle of her lectures. Letitia was unsure how she managed to get through her lessons, but get through them she did. When the day came to a close, however, and Letitia parted from Genevieve, she found herself incapable of looking her pupil in the eye, a fact which made Genevieve, who hadn't failed to notice this, giggle. That giggle pierced Letitia's heart. It stayed with her during the quiet, desolate night long after she slid under her covers. "She's doomed, babes." The next day dawned in much the same manner as the previous one, with the tapping of ivy against Letitia's window, and the whistle of the wind across the marshes. There was one critical difference, however. This time the voice which called Letitia from the opposite side of the door was soft and musical, like that of a linnet's cry. What is a linnet? I imagine it's like birds. Let's look it up, Chad. A linnet. A linnet. It is a bird. Oh, it's a finch. How precious. They have a red spot on their chest. The male has red on his chest and the top of his head during breeding season. How charming. Back to my what I'm supposed to be doing. Letitia recognized the owner of the voice in an instant. It was Dinah. Miss Reed? I have come with your breakfast. May I come in? Relief coursed through Letitia's body like that of a stream. So Dinah really was all right. The sickness that she had come down with could not have been too severe, for her to be back at work askant 2 days later. What a fusspot she had been. I love that word fusspot. I do use the word fusspot in my daily life. Not often, because I don't put up with fusspots, but you know. I don't mind a fusspot every now and then, but if someone is a fusspot all the time with me, I find myself quite worn, you know? It's such a good word though, isn't it, chat? Fusspot. So fun. Dinah, of course you may come in. Let me get the door. Letitia's response was enthusiastic, as one might speak to an old friend they had not seen in some time. Yes, Tushy, fusspot. It's so charming to say, isn't it? Letitia had not realized, until hearing Dinah once more, how much she had missed her. Perhaps Ivy had been right when she claimed, a knowing smile playing about her lips, that they were friends. Hatton Manor was so very dreary and isolated, perhaps it was inevitable Letitia would have felt some sort of kinship with the few smiling faces she saw every single day, namely those of Dinah's and Genevieve's. Yes, Debbie, you must spread the propaganda of the word fusspot. We must put it in the popular lexicon. Make everyone start saying fusspot. Infect them all. At least, Letitia thought distractedly, as Dinah set the breakfast tray upon her writing desk. It did not seem likely Dinah would try and kiss her too. How have you been, Dinah? I heard that you were unwell from one of the other maids. Ivy, her name was. I was worried. You were worried, miss? Dinah straightened her back and cast Letitia a curious look. About me? That's right. I've grown used to seeing you every morning. Your absence was quite the shock. Oh, I am flattered. I didn't know you cared so much. Chat, don't you want to just swoop Dinah up into a lovely hug? Doesn't she seem so precious and lovely? She's so charming, you know? Couldn't help but care, I suppose. We are companions in a way. I hadn't thought of it like that, but yes, I suppose we are. Dinah tried to offer Letitia's smile, but it was weak and it wavered at the corners. So too did Dinah's fingers, which were distractedly smoothing out the wrinkles in her skirt. I apologize if I unnerved you, miss. I did not mean to. I was unwell for a few days, but it was nothing too serious. It was only a cold. It was to be expected, really, given the weather. I have a frail constitution and I often weaken during the winter. Is that so? Yes, indeed. I've been delicate since I was a small girl. It is troublesome, but I am fine now. There is no need to be fret. So fret is from the word fret, where you fret about people, so she's telling her not to fret. Fret? Dinah blushed and dipped her head. Frightened, I mean. Oh! That was my assumption. Save for that little slip-up, Dinah's syllables were uniformly neat and polished. She sounded almost like a lady, her tone nigh indistinguishable from Genevieve's. But when Letitia strained her ears, she thought she could detect the faintest hint of a Yorkshire drawl. According to Genevieve, Dinah was a local beeston like the other maids. It was after working at Hatton for so many years that she had adopted their accent, as an attempt to show off, Genevieve had said. Letitia wondered whether that was really true. Dinah didn't seem particularly predisposed to showing off. If anything, she looked more like she was trying to shrink in on herself. Warding off Letitia's concern with her sweet voice and soft smile. Though Dinah was determined to assert her wellness, Letitia now wondered whether that was really true. Dinah was awfully pale. She looked positively waxen, like a figure in a museum. Oh my god, guys! Speaking of wax figures, Did you see the Madame Tussauds? The new Madame Tussauds one? They made Viola Davis, and she looks so cool. Guys, Madame Tussauds, Viola Davis. They revealed that one like recently, and it looks so fucking good. She's in her like gorgeous red dress, the long red one. Oh, and she looks amazing. You could literally go to Madame Tussauds just to see Viola Davis's figure. Like, it's that good. God, I'm a big fan of the Madame Tussauds Museum. I know that sometimes they flop, like sometimes they just do not do it well, but their standards for their figures are so much higher than other museums, I will say. If you're going to go see any wax figure museum, you go to Madame Tussauds if you can. I must say. Sorry. Another one of my little mid-visual novel diversions. For somebody who had been sequestered to her bed for 2 days, she had dark, bruise-like imprints beneath both eyes, as though she had not slept in weeks. You want to go? Tushy, we should go together in like the magical universe where I can go to America. We should go. Diana actually is I'm sure Madame Tussauds is in America. Oh, it's in London. It was founded in London. Oh, it's in London. We would have to go to the UK. We could meet up with Endeavour, though. We could hang out with Endeavour when we go over. Letitia's brow creased. Are you sure you're really alright? Yes, of course I am. Why wouldn't I be? It was only a cold. I do not doubt you had a cold, but I was wondering. It mightn't be my place to ask, but there are so many weird museums around the world that I want to go to just because they're so niche. Like there's the Poisons Museum that I really want to go to. It has like the poisonous plants and things. It's really cool. It's just there's so much. And there's like a taxidermy museum somewhere that I also want to go to. Letitia drew in a breath. The scent of her breakfast, porridge oats today, did little to calm her mounting anxiety. In Hatton, everything seemed to be buried under layers upon layers of secrecy. There was Arthur Langley's self-imposed solitude, the hushed-up death of Genevieve's younger brother, and now Dinah's downturned gaze and ghostly pallor. Oh, Tushy, don't tempt me with a good time. Disturbing Death Museum? Ooh! The death mask? I love death masks, guys. They're so cool. Such a fun death practice. Oh. So young Priscilla was really into like doom and gloom and poison and like grody things as like modern Priscilla is. But if young Priscilla got to go to these museums, she would have lost her mind. I will be acting with much more decorum, I hope, if I ever got the chance. But I can't trust that I would. You know me. I get excited. There's just I have a thing about like death practices, poison, disease, parasites, things like that. I really enjoy them. So like museums that do that. There was a friend of mine from Australia. They went to Japan for their honeymoon because they couldn't do a big wedding, so they went for an expensive honeymoon. And they went to this museum that's all about parasites. And she sent me so many photos of the Parasite Museum. And I was like, girl, I need to go there. And she was like, I knew you would love it. I had to go there just to get photos for you. Oh, just beautiful stuff. I'll see if I can find the photos and put them in the Discord later because it was so magical. Although I don't know. I'm still gauging. I need to make like a chat for nasty grody shit. So I can post things like that more safely for people. I might do that. I might see if I can do that this weekend. Make a channel just for nasty grody shit, so that if people want to post nasty grody shit, not sex cat stuff like parasites and nasty things like that, you know. We won't be posting. We're not posting things that are like, yeah, you get what I'm talking about. I think it would be so fun and so me to have a channel just for that. Winfriend, she's so cool for that. She's the one. I need to post this in the Discord again. She sent me like. She sent me like some like, you know, the Pawny Nikki game, not the fashion one, the other one. She sent me like some free cards she got at a cafe of the characters, and I've got them in like a card book. And then she like inside the envelope, she drew a picture of me, and it's on my pin board. I accidentally cut it up a bit, so I was like panic taping it back together, and I put it up on my pin board next to my print of my wifey Marine. I need to put it in the Discord so that people who don't know about it can see it, because it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. I genuinely, such a gift. I was like, girl, you can't do that. She sent me some like cute little rose stickers as well that I haven't used yet. I need to think about how I'm going to use them. Oh, yes, you remember. You guys remember. That was such an iconic moment. She's so fun. We're meant to be reading a visual novel, aren't we, chat? There were secrets, piled upon secrets. Letitia's kiss with Genevieve among them, and Letitia didn't think she could swallow any more mystery. It was enough to drive a woman mad. I know, it's okay. I want you guys to see this full story because it's a really good ending. I'm not worried about getting distracted. I'm worried about you guys not getting to see the ending, because it's a good ending. It's very good. You guys are going to lose your minds a bit. I'm not going to lie. Was it truly a coincidence that you fell ill after visiting the master in his office? What? Dinah took a step back, her eyes wide. What are you talking about? I don't know what you mean. I think you do, Dinah. If you did not, you wouldn't look so stunned. Look. Letitia's voice softened. She looked upon the young maid, still a young girl around Genevieve's age, with gentle eyes. Yes, there's Tushy. For those who aren't aware, there's rumours around the manor. There was a previous maid who was very heavily pregnant. There's rumours around the manor that that Arthur Langley, the head of the house, Genevieve's father, forced himself on her, and just set up a marriage for her with one of the groundsmen to keep her like in safety. And now he's asking for Dinah to start serving him. So there's like rumours, and Letitia has like fallen for the rumours. She's listening to the rumours, and since like Dinah, like after serving him that chamomile tea in person, was like sick in bed for a couple of days. She's like, oh god, she's gotten to her too. He's gotten to her too. Next victim. She's trying to be so sweet and gentle. I'm not asking you this because I wish to make you feel uncomfortable. I'm asking instead because I'm worried for you. I like to think there's some sort of connection. If there's anything you want to tell me, anything at all, then you can. I don't know if I can help, but surely it is better than hiding things. I don't know what you mean. I'm not hiding anything. Then why are you shaking so? Surely something must be wrong. This is just a side effect of my illness. It is a symptom. I just... Dinah opened her mouth. She closed it. She glanced down at the ground, her pretty face twisting into an unmistakable expression of grief, and then cried. Oh, Letitia, I've wanted to talk about this so badly, but I didn't know to who I could turn. I'm not particularly close to the other maids. They all think I'm uppity because of how I talk. They wouldn't understand, and neither would Miss Ree. She would call me a liar, or else blame me for what happened, but Dinah quivered. One of her hands found her chest, her fingers digging into the fabric of her plain maid's garb. I didn't want this to happen, believe me, I didn't. I tried to refuse, in fact, but I had no choice. I had to. As she spoke, tears began to bead in Dinah's eyes. They were large tears the size of tuppence pieces, which quivered with guilt and shame. Dinah's tears seemed to flow endlessly. They didn't stop, no matter how she wiped her eyes with her arm. Genevieve actually says that this is part of the reason she doesn't get along with her father, is she gets just very upset. She's very angry about her father's dalliances with the maids, so to speak. We aren't shaming the lesbians. We would never do that. Miss Rhea, on the other hand, she would. Miss Rhea sucks balls. Miss Rhea is a fucking sucks. She's way too... She's honestly kind of horrible. The more Dinah cried, the harder her tears fell until she could scarcely breathe. Her shoulders shook as though she might break, and Letitia gasped in horror for her. She had had her fears, but she hadn't wanted to be proved right. She had never wished for Dinah to be subject to such woe. Oh, Dinah, you poor thing, come here. Slikey, you just missed the hot kiss scene earlier. Now we're in the drama again. We had like a gorgeous hot kiss scene earlier, and now we're in the drama again. Oh, but we get another pretty CG of us comforting Dinah. Look, aren't they pretty? Look how pretty! How pretty this beautiful and horrific scene is. Oh. We really get to see how tall Letitia is in this moment too. Like, she is a full-grown woman. Which I quite enjoy. Which one, Sebi? Which one do you wish was what you were? The one being held by Letitia, or do you want to be holding Dinah? Like, yes? Okay. You hope Genevieve doesn't come around the corner and get jealous. I don't think she will. She doesn't really go around the servants' quarters, and we are technically in the servants' quarters. So I think we'll be safe. Don't worry, hun. Yep. Azel got you. Azel clocked you, and Azel clocked you, Sebi. Yeah. We will be safe. I'm fairly certain Genevieve doesn't show up for this. It's nice to see you, Azel. Abandoning her breakfast tray and any sense of normalcy along with it, Letitia crossed the room and took Dinah in her arms. It was a forward display of affection, the likes of which Letitia would not normally have indulged in. But what else was she to do? Dinah was sobbing brokenly, as though her heart was breaking. Letitia could not stand idle and watch unmoved. Oh fuck, holy shit! Hi Raiders, welcome in. Hang on. Welcome in, Raiders. Did you have fun with your Gamba game? I saw you earlier. Did you enjoy the Gamba? Did you have to sell your organs yet? You just missed... Did you sell your organs yet? That's the real question. Only a few. I hate to tell you this, but you need a lot of those to survive. Like, there's only a few that you can... Like, there's only like 1 or 2 that you can sell before you start to really die. Oh, some weren't yours? Okay, that's fine then. Slime Raid means I get to have a little break and catch up with chat and have a talk. You guys missed a hot kiss scene earlier. You missed a hot kiss scene earlier, losers. You're here for the tragedy. Congrats. But welcome in. We have like commands now. Look at that in my stream title. Look at that cool stream. Those like exclamation marks in my stream title. I have cool commands now. Isn't that awesome? I'm a pro. Thank you, Wicked. You understand what I was putting down. You understand. You read me well. Thank you. That's totally fair that you need food. You were kind of like in it. Very much so. So yeah, feel free to lurk. Go get your munch on. Welcome, Raiders. Thank you for entrusting your lovely viewers with me. I think we'll be going for like another half hour, and then we'll see if anyone else is streaming. Go after them too. But yes, I think we'll be going for like another half hour, and then we might wrap up. I can only usually do these reading streams for like 2 hours because it's just me talking constantly. I don't have like breaks to think or anything. Oh, it only gave you 2 commands on mobile? Oh, I'm sorry, hun. We hate mobile. We hate how it hates people. I can't do the head pets command to you, Tushy, but I'm doing it in spirit, you know? But yes, I can only really do these like reading streams for like 2 hours because it's just me talking and doing lots of reading over and over, with no like breaks to think or like mull to myself or just like or anything. So we can't do these streams for very long. But oh, thank you for the head pats. Thank you. I assume they're working. I have mixed it up open. But thank you. But yes, we'll only be going for like another half hour or so. The 2 women hadn't been friends. Not in the traditional sense of the word, but perhaps they were now. Dinah's desperate tears had torn down the class barrier which separated them. Scullery maid and governess no longer, they both embraced. Dinah still sobbing, 2 women alone in a large vast house full of shadows. Oh, Letitia. Dinah sniffed, her eyes red and puffy like a rabbit's. Letitia, I'm sorry. I must seem like such a fool. No, you don't. I promise you don't. Oh, but I do. My face is all red and blotchy and, oh, I'm sure I must look an awful mess. I feel like a mess too. Honestly? Don't we all feel like that when we cry? We're like, immediately I'm always like, God, I'm a mess. It doesn't help that I'm a snotty crier. It's not pretty. I'm not delicate and pretty like Dinah. Dinah extricated herself from Letitia's arms and walked towards the mirror stationed on Letitia's writing desk. She inspected her tear-streaked face with a shudder, then set about wiping her eyes and rearranging her hair. How do I look now? Better? Much the same, I think, though I cannot blame you. What happened, Dinah? I would rather not go into it. Not in any great detail, at least. It was all so horrible. I tried to put it from my mind, but it's all I've been able to think of since. I feel like I'm going mad. I don't know what to do. You also ugly, cry Wolfie? Solidarity, babes. Although, I do find myself just like tearing up when I feel so passionate about art or something, you know? I overcome with emotion, feeling that getting the vapours, you know? But that's different. Letitia thought she had a decent grasp of what had occurred, but she still wanted to hear it from Dinah's lips. Now, that feels very selfish. You shouldn't force someone who's been assaulted to like really go into the gory details, especially like so soon after. It's a very harsh thing to do to someone. But Letitia isn't very clever on this sort of thing. She's not good at the social things. Perhaps she could shed some light on this murky matter. Oh, Sebi, I'm sorry. This sounds so funny, but I do hope you get to cry soon. It's very good for you to cry. It's healthy for the soul. Maybe watch something really depressing that will like make you cry, like baby animals getting eaten. I don't know what gets to you. Leading the trembling woman to her bed. Yeah, exactly, Wolfie. You don't really need to know all the details as long as you know that someone has been like hurt by another person in a very severe way, so severe that she like literally starts shaking from the fear and like trauma. You don't need to know more than that. That's all you need. Oh, but Stevie, that means you are crying about stuff. That means you are crying at stuff. If you like tear up at emotional stuff, you're still crying. That's okay. That's good then. You're still getting that emotional catharsis happening. That's good. I'm glad for you. Oh, Wolfie, have you done like... Speaking of the Van Gogh, have you seen like the Van Gogh documentary that's done in like his like... Not documentary, the Van Gogh movie that's done in like his art style? I think you'd really appreciate it. It's so beautiful. What's it called? It's called Loving Vincent, I think. Yes, it is. It's called Loving Vincent. It's a 2017 experimental animated historical drama film about the life of the painter Vincent van Gogh. Gogh. I always say it wrong. I need to remind myself it's like not English. In particular, the circumstances of his death. It's a Polish-UK co-production. It's very beautiful. I think if you loved that episode of Doctor Who, that you should actually check out that movie if you can. It might be on the Internet Archive actually, or somewhere more illegal, but you know, we shan't speak of that here, you know. Speaking of which, chat, Discord is, from what can be aware of, Discord. Hang on, need to get the exact details for you. Discord is planning to go public. So what this means is they may be cracking down more on illegal activity. What I would recommend is don't post like pirated stuff in Discord anymore if you can help that. Just don't. If you do that now, stop doing that. Just to keep yourself safe. That was just a little PSA from me to you. Yes, exactly, Wolfie. I know that some people do, so I'm just throwing that information out there. Do not talk about anything through Discord. You can't trust what they're doing. They also freely work with the cops. Exactly. You don't post things on Discord. It's just not what you do. I know some people do though, so I had to throw the PSA out there. Not all of us are have the same level of internet safety, of course. Not all of us have been taught the same internet safety awareness, so we gotta be kind to others and inform them what we can. Yep, no warrants or anything, they just jump you. It's fucked up. Leading the trembling woman to her bed, Letitia bade Dinah to sit. Then Letitia took her cup of tea from the breakfast tray and handed it to the world-weary maid. Here, drink this. It might help with the shakes. Oh no! Dinah regarded the teacup with large eyes, as though it might come to life and nibble on her fingers. I couldn't, miss. This is your tea. Brought it up here for you. And I think you need it more than I do at this moment. Won't you try some? A sip should be enough to fortify your strength. I really shouldn't. But if you insist. Oh, very well. Dinah eventually gave in to Letitia's petitions. She accepted the teacup gingerly, nursing it in her lap. I will try some, though I doubt it will make any difference. Nothing will console me now, not all the tea in China. Despite Dinah's doubts, however, the tea did seem to help. It brought some colour back into her cheeks at least, and the worst of her tremors subsided. I think you seem a bit better. Now. Letitia took a seat at Dinah's side. They were both so close together, their shoulders brushing, that Letitia could feel the warmth of Dinah's skin through the fabric of her clothes. Curiously, she had to wonder if this is what it was like to have real friends. Was Dinah her friend now? Letitia hoped so. But she was aware, even while hoping, that this was a selfish desire, brought about from several months of isolation. Yes, trauma bonding, let's fucking go. Many such cases. Letitia's own petty needs were unimportant. Dinah's suffering far eclipsed her own desire for companionship. What happened, Dinah? You do not need to tell me in detail, but I would like to know. You said you wished to share it with somebody. I thought I did, but now you've asked, I don't know. Saying it aloud would make it feel more real somehow. I know no good will come if I keep running from the truth, though. You see, Dinah drew in a breath. She looked at Letitia, her eyelashes dewy, and spoke thus. It was the master. I heard rumours about him, and I suspected him behind Abigail's pregnancy. But I didn't want to believe. Dinah shuddered. I didn't think he would do the same to me. I did not think he would. Did not want to think he would. I should have known better, I suppose. What with all the rumours. I was so foolish. Then you don't mean... Letitia's voice trembled. She felt something cold wrap about her heart, imbuing it with an icy chill. This must have been how Kai had felt in the Snow Queen, when his heart had been pierced with fragments of the troll's magic mirror. Arthur Langley, he didn't hurt you, did he? Dinah's body tensed, but she did not reply. She did not need to. Letitia could feel the other woman stiffen beside her, and this was all the answer she needed. So he did hurt you. It did not hurt so very much. At the very least, it was not horribly painful. I was frightened, though. I didn't want to, but he insisted. He said if I did not, then he would have to fire me, and then I would no longer be able to provide for my family. He didn't say that, did he? He did, and more besides. He said that Abigail had given herself to him willingly enough. Why should I be any different? He said I was nothing more than a servant, and it was not my job to ask questions. I had to fulfill my orders. I had to. Thank you for the lurk, Tushy. Dinah's fingers, which gripped the teacup, tensed. Letitia could see her knuckles protruding from beneath her skin like 5 white-capped mountains, sharp and stark. I didn't want to, but I had no choice. We were alone in his study, just me and him. He gave me an order. I had to obey it. I thought it for the best, but now... Oh, but now... Dinah stared at Letitia, her expression stricken. What will I do if a child comes of this? I don't want to end up like Abigail, married off to one of the male servants. Or worse, cast out in disgrace. I can't let that happen. I need this job. Being a maid is all I know. It is all I can do. Oh, Dinah. So stunned was she. Letitia found her voice dropping to a hushed whisper. You don't think that you're pregnant, do you? I don't know. I can't tell. It's too soon to know. It could be, though. And I've been sick with worry ever since. I don't know what to do. I thought of taking some sort of contraceptive just in case, but I wouldn't know how to get my hands on such a thing. I feel so young, so foolish, so clueless. Letitia, please. Dinah set her cup and saucer down upon the floor, and shifted closer to her newfound friend. Her fingers reached out, entwining with Letitia's prone hand as she said, I remember you mentioned once that your mother had her own herb garden. You said she was skilled in brewing tinctures. That's right. My mother was very skilled at making remedies. She did it to supplement father's income, for a bit of extra money. What of you? Do you know how to brew these tinctures too? My mother taught me some things, yes. I used to help her in the kitchen. I can distinguish most common herbs by scent and appearance, and I know how to slice roots and make simple powders. But why do you ask? An awkward silence fell, during which Letitia could feel her heart tremble. Her question had been a superfluous one. She had known exactly what Dinah wanted the moment she had mentioned her mother's herbal remedies. But she wished to remain ignorant for just a few more moments. It was hard to believe just how quickly how everything had fallen into pieces. Letitia had never imagined such a dramatic occurrence would take place in a manner like Hatton, and yet... I was wondering... hoping, rather. Dinah paused. She swallowed, her expression heavy with remorse. That you might know of some way to help me. Do you know of any herbs I can take to ensure I do not fall pregnant? Is such a thing possible? It is possible, yes. My mother helped women in similar situations before. Wild carrot seed is supposed to be particularly effective, and it's easy enough to come by. But Dinah... Letitia gripped Dinah's fingers even more tightly. Are you sure about this? If you take such a tincture, you wouldn't be able to reverse its effects. I know that. I'm fully aware of the fact, and it is exactly what I want. I know many would frown on me for this, but I can't have the master's child. Not when he cast Abigail aside so carelessly. I simply can't. Letitia looked down at her lap, her eyes half-lidded. Letitia didn't know whether Dinah was with child, and neither did Dinah. As the young maid had said, it was too soon to tell. It was possible there was no baby growing within her, and the medicine she desired would have no effect. And it was also possible, by that token, that such a medicine would destroy a germ of life which had already taken root within her. If such a thing happened, then Dinah would be a murderer, as would Letitia for aiding her. I want to remind people, the person is writing this from the perspective of Victorian England. So abortions weren't considered like the right thing to do. It was considered a sin. She isn't admonishing her for wanting. This isn't like her moral standpoint that abortions are wrong. This is the standpoint that has been put into her by Victorian values. Okay? The person writing this does not hate abortions. She's an incredibly left-wing person. She just writes within the setting. Yep, exactly. Abortions are healthcare and should be a right for all. Regardless of situation, gender, it doesn't matter. It should be an option for any health complications or situations or any like life circumstances that may put you in, that you may need this. Like, it shouldn't be something you jump through hoops for. Just with any other medical situation, you should be able to access it. Yeah. I had to say this because of just like how the text is writing this. Just had to remind you all that the person writing this is not a hater of abortion. They are left-wing. They are simply writing it for the setting. We're not going to allow for any admonishment on our girl Ebihime for her amazing writing. The Bible did not take kindly upon such things. See? Neither did the rest of polite society. See? See, it's all about the setting here, guys. To even talk about a subject this thorny was taboo. Letitia knew, however, that she had no room to judge when it came to such matters. Thank you for the lurk, Wolfie. How could she, when she had broken so many taboos already? Letitia was a sinful woman. The devil had been whispering to her throughout her life, and though she tried to ward him away, Genevieve's kiss had undone all of that. It was impossible for Letitia to lie to herself about her true nature. She was in love with another woman. She loved Genevieve. Dinah's sins, by comparison, were light. Though she might have been plotting the destruction of her own baby, if such a baby existed, it was not something she had wanted. She had been forced into it. Why should she have to bear such a cross when it was not of her own making? Dinah was faultless. She was just a young girl who'd been unfortunate enough to be born into a poor family. She was dependent on the Langleys' mercy, and Arthur had taken advantage of her. The thought filled Letitia with quiet rage. It had been some time since she had aided her mother in the kitchen, but she was confident enough in her abilities. While success was not guaranteed, she felt obliged to help as much as she could. She knew she hadn't a choice in the matter, not when Dinah looked so fearful. "All right, I will do all I can, though there is still a chance this may not work. Please don't expect too much from me. I am inexperienced, but I shall go to Beeston this weekend when I have a chance, and I will search for the herbs you need. With a bit of luck, that should prove to be enough to help you." "Letitia, oh, Letitia!" Dinah's eyes lightened at this. She stared at Letitia in reverent awe, tears once more beading upon her eyelashes. "Thank you. I can't thank you enough. I don't know what I would do without you." "It's all right. Don't worry. I want to help. You've done nothing wrong, and I most certainly don't want to see you cast from Hatton like Abigail was." Letitia hadn't known Abigail all that well, but she had felt the blow all the same when she had been banished from Hatton. She refused now to let the same thing to happen to Dinah. How could she, when they had finally become friends? The weekend soon arrived. and Letitia proved to be as good as her word. On Saturday, which was her day off, she walked to the village of Beeston on her own. Letitia supposed she could have asked Jared for a ride in the carriage. He seemed an affable man, and she doubted he would have refused her. It would not have been a surprise either, if he had plans similar to his own to while his day off in the village. In the end, however, Letitia chose not to approach the coachman for help. She did not want to. Letitia had no personal quarrel with Gerald. He seemed perfectly nice, albeit prone to talking. Letitia did not feel much like talking, however, on that grey overcast Saturday morning. The day's operation seemed much too delicate to involve a man like Gerard. He had no place to play in the drama which was being played out on Atten's walls, in Arthur's study. Letitia was determined to keep Dinah's affliction a secret, and that was precisely what she would do. She did not want to risk whipping up any rumours. Procuring Dinah's herbs was not the sole reason why Letitia decided to travel to Beeston that weekend either, though it was indeed one of the main ones. Genevieve's birthday was fast approaching, and Letitia wanted to buy her a gift. This was to be Genevieve's first birthday with a friend, or so Genevieve had said, and Letitia wanted to make it special. Alas, Letitia was unsure what present Genevieve would want, and she doubted there would be much choice in Beeston. She had seen only a glimpse of Beeston a few months prior when she had driven through it with Gerard Lockett. It had seemed a small, humble village, not necessarily run down, but certainly lacking in amenities. Letitia could not imagine that there were much choice in the village. There would most likely be an apothecary. That was where Letitia meant to buy the wild carrot seeds. A butchery, a baker's, and perhaps a dusty old bookshop with limited stock. Letitia doubted that Genevieve would care for books, though, dusty or otherwise. Genevieve wasn't at all like her father. Perhaps she could go to a tailor's then. Clothes seemed like a safe bet, but when it came to the young Miss Lanley, though she already had so many clothes, far finer than anything Letitia could afford on her paltry salary, Letitia doubted she'd be able to find any dress in Beeston that could rival the fashionable London catalogues where Genevieve ordered her clothes. If she could not buy the young lady a freshly made dress, then perhaps she could make one. Letitia had some experience with a needle and thread, as a young lady that was a given, and with fine enough fabric she could perhaps craft something suitable. Those thoughts circled through Letitia's head as she walked to the village. The 4 miles between Beeston and Hatton Manor was not so very great, but the moorland was marshy, and Letitia had to take especial care not to stumble over her own feet. Especial. Is that a typo or a real word? Especial. Especial. Oh, it is a word. Apologies, everyone. It is a word. Letitia skirted around large ponds of rippling water, the hem of her skirt trailing across the ground all the while. As she advanced through the fog, which clung to the ground, she found her thoughts turning not to Dinah or Genevieve, but a ghost from many years past, little Gareth Langley. And with that lovely cliffhanger, I think we will end for the day. We saw a lot today. We talked about a lot of different topics as well. Very, very chatty stream we've had. And yes, I'm excited for my future plans, very much so. I had a good time. I'm very glad I got those commands set up. They have been so useful. I will try and do 2 streams next week. I will have the schedule out soon. My next week's schedule hasn't been packed full of things I need to get done yet, so it's definitely possible for me to get 2 streams done. But let's see who we can raid. Oh my god, guys, Valdivia's live. One of my favorite horror artists. I follow him. He's live. Oh, let's raid him. He's making art today with teeth. He's doing Lately he's been like on a bio horror kick with like biological shit. It's my favorite sort of thing he does. That's like my favorite leading he does. He does a bunch of different horror stuff. He does like Photoshop horror. So he'll Photoshop pictures and make them spooky. But let's get them. Let's get him. Let's get him. Let's get him. I'm so excited to rate him. He's only been streaming for like 36 minutes, so he's just started. Ah. I love this. I love that we get to raid him.